All right. Welcome back to episode 9 of Pod Save the Rivalry. We're back.
Nine ball.
We really dropping 9 balls out here, man. Um, gonna definitely be doing more reels and stuff, but we're back. How you boys doing today?
Well, I'm doing quite all right, but Boston sports is in shambles.
Boston sports are indeed in shambles. New York sports are looking like pretty much the same. Ra, how you doing?
Doing good.
Doing good out here. Boys, let's just jump into the topic on everyone's mind. Like, you think we should give Kurt a chance to, like almost like White Rabbit this, like say the things we're about to say to his team like before, and a chance to like make our insults less hurtful. I guess we can go. So Kurt, like, how you feeling about your Red Sox right now, man?
Well, I guess I could be nominated for freezing cold takes from the last pod
Definitely.
because I went on about how I thought the Red Sox were going to make a second half run coming out of the All-Star break, getting healthy, and then, just going. It's all uphill from here, is what I said.
That is what you said.
And I was completely wrong. And I will own that one. It's all downhill from here. Um, like I said, the Red Sox are in shambles. Got massacred by the Blue Jays in that series. Chris Sale once again hurt after that Yankees series. Devers on the IL. Story on the IL. JD hasn't been playing for a few games now. Don't know what's up with that. It's a complete mess. It's a complete shit show. And now at this point, I think the only thing we can do is look to the future. There's too much competition in the AL East right now. We're not going to win a World Series this year. We're going to sell at the trade deadline. We're probably going to get rid of Bogarts, probably going to get rid of Devers. I am in ruin, but, we move.
Devers, like, I didn't really know like until the like 7 games in 10 days against the Yankees. Listen, don't ever like putting him and Judge in the same sentence. Their bats are the same, but Devers is an absolute liability at third base. He can't play. He cannot play third. I would legitimately DH him if like that's how much of a liability he is at third base. Like,
I I disagree with that. I think he used to be a severe liability there. He has gotten a lot better. He's still
maybe.
maybe not like he's obviously not like a super good fielder, but he still makes some plays that are like, you know,
Yeah, I don't know, man. I really like I felt like confident, that he was gonna give us an error or two, like each series. Devers like he can, and despite like all this, I mean the Red Sox, I know you've all seen it, the stretch of 3 batters in a row. The first error there wasn't terrible, like they hit Chapman with the throw, but then the next two, like missing first, like this is like a little league team out here. You boys
It
are
really is.
just
okay,
as
it literally is a little league team right now. We have fucking Jeter Downs starting for Rafael Devers at third base. We have some guy that I've never heard of starting at second. We got Bobby Dahlbeck still grinding away. But like Jeter Downs, let's go back on that. This guy was our top prospect a couple of years ago. He was supposed to be the future or whatever. We had a shit farm system. He was supposed to be our gem. This dude's batting 140. He's
Yeah,
good
like
at defense. He's somewhat fast. Like, who gives a shit if you bat 1 fucking 40?
one.
yeah, that's just a real shame, man. So unfortunate. I'm sorry to
Yeah.
hear that.
So here's the thing with the injuries, is why I actually still don't actually really feel bad. I mean, well, it's the Red Sox, but it's also like I know Red Sox fans, you guys were so sympathetic to the Yankees when we dealt with injuries. You know, you guys, oh yeah, Judge and Stanton due for an injury. It's
They
time
do
for an
for
injury.
injury.
You guys are gonna fall apart. Blah blah blah. And you know what? We have dealt with a lot of injuries, but you know what? The Yankees actually know how to manage their farm system, manage depth, which is why Brian Cashman is such a good GM. Like in 2019, our whole team was hurt, and guess what, Rad? What did we do?
We won 103 games.
Won 103 games and made it to the ALCS. Last year, at this exact time around, we were at the game where it was basically a AAA lineup against the Phillies. Ryan Lamar comes and hits the walk-off sac
If
fly,
Greg
then
Allen
gets
came for a while, he was good.
like the Yankees seem to, even when they deal with injuries, we overcome it. Red Sox are just a terribly run organization and thus can't. Especially, you know what?
Come
If you guys wanted depth, maybe you shouldn't have signed Trevor Story, giving him all that money. You could have sprinkled that around, gotten some depth instead of signing another shortstop, man. And you were right though. It is a very steep uphill for your Sox. I mean, it looks like you boys are gonna finish last out here, like realistically. And the Orioles are right there. We honestly, I wouldn't have even minded losing the series to the Orioles if I had put you in
We meant
last.
the Sox to be last.
Actually,
But
I'm kidding.
we
We
still
need to
lose
stay. We
series,
need to
bro.
stay ahead of the Astros. But it's literally in terms of run differential. I know I made the post, but worst 5 game stretch any big league squad has had in the last 70 years. In terms of run differential, the top three. Number one, July 16th to July 24th, Red Sox. July 15th to July 23rd, Red Sox. July 14th to July 22nd, Red Sox. Then it's also this wait. Yeah, then it's this year's Cubs, who had a thing from June 11th to 15th, 2018 Angels. Weirdly, the 2000 Yankees, apparently in September, even though they won the World Series, went on a really bad run. I don't know, some older Yankee fans might
So
remember
what you're
that, but
saying is we're winning the World Series.
yes, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
saying I
yeah.
don't think the Yankees were ever 500 that year. But I mean, it's crazy. Even on Big Poppy's Hall of Fame
Hall of
endorsement
Fame. You
speech,
ruined it.
you really managed to put a sour taste in Red Sox fans' mouth when that old steroid head got inducted into the Hall of Fame. Whatever,
Come
whatever, man.
on.
I know, dude.
Now
Yeah,
JK,
yeah.
Everyone loves Poppy.
everyone
We
loves
do love
Poppy. This
Poppy.
is
When he got shot, that counteracted the whole steroid thing.
how true. How true. He
We
really did get
canceled him
shot,
out.
man. Like there was a brief point there where like people really thought that Poppy was gonna like die. That would been crazy. But he didn't, luckily. He's still with us and he's still able to
Of course he didn't.
watch.
He's the clutchest player of all time. Why wouldn't he clutch his way through a bullet wound, man?
You think he could like still like I feel like he could still like play. Like
He
I
could
think he
still
still
hit.
could.
Absolutely.
I mean
Oh,
the
he
thing
could
That would
definitely.
mean that we
He
need
would
to put
definitely be. He would definitely be your best hitter, like right now.
our. I don't
In
know if
this team, in the team that you have right now, without depth.
well
I
like
don't
with
know
everyone
if
hurt.
David Ortiz at this point would be our best hitter right now. With Devers out, and if JD's actually out for a while, maybe. I think he could still hit though. He could still play DH at a competent level. But like then that would mean we have to put JD in the field,
Yeah.
and that is not a good look.
Yeah, I mean, you literally just have to put the ball in play against like the Red Sox, and like good things are gonna happen because you guys just cannot, you
Bro,
can't field.
I don't know what the fuck is up. Like, do they have the lights turned up in Fenway to a degree that they've never had before? Because I swear to God, every other day, someone loses a ball in the lights
Yeah.
and it lands fucking 50 feet behind them.
See,
Like,
like the
what
thing,
the fuck is up with that?
the thing is, like they would be
Pardon
turning
my
up the lights, but
language.
like
I'm
why?
sorry if
Like,
your
but
kids are
again, it
watching.
just it just happens to the Red Sox fielders though. Like we played 4 games in there, and it didn't happen to us. So I don't
I
know.
think at one time it did. I think LeMahieu lost the ball in the lights
Did
in
he?
that game when you beat us 11-6.
Yeah, and that game where we got blown out by the Blue Jays,
Which
obviously the
one?
biggest one that stands out, the inside the park grand slam. Jaron Duran fucking completely loses a ball, lands 50 feet behind him in center field, bounces
His
up against the
walk.
wall, and I mean, if you looked at him on that play too, after it landed, he's just like walking around, lets the other outfielder run over
Yeah,
and
that was
grab it.
bad. Man. That was bad.
And
That's
then
like,
you, in that same game, pop up right in front of the pitcher's mound. We have three
mhm,
people converge. No one gets within 5 feet of it. It just lands in the middle of them. That's little league shit.
that's
That's
literally
little league shit.
and
So I'm wearing my Montreal Expos hat now because I don't want to represent the Red Sox at this very moment. It's
wow.
an
Wow.
embarrassment.
It really,
Embarrassing.
really is. You absolutely love to see it. And the thing about like honestly, like where at some point, like yes, he is dealing with AAA, like I understand that. But like what's up, like Alex Cora, for like all I've heard that he's the best manager ever, and he has outmanaged Aaron Boone a decent amount of times, but like with this stuff, like the team completely falling apart, it seems like
It's
you have
more
to
on
look at him
Shane
like
Bloom.
what's going
It's
on.
more on Shane Bloom than
Mm, yeah, I
Shane
think
Bloom might have to go.
it's more
Shane might
on
actually have
Bloom
to
than
go.
on Cora. I don't think at this point I think either of them need to go. I think
Shane might.
I
I
think
would
with the
consider it.
success that they've had in recent years, you give them the benefit of the doubt, say, it's a
Is
crappy
it
year.
has
We dealt
Shane
with a
like
lot of injuries. I don't know what was up with the Story signing. If he lets Bogarts and Devers walk, that might be another story. I might be completely fine with getting rid of him. Um, but I
he
think
also like
at
traded
this
Mookie when he
point, you
didn't
still
have to.
should give them the benefit of the doubt because they have done a lot of good things. But I
But
just don't want to let the recency bias set in too much. But right now, like it's a mess.
Mm,
It's
but
a mess.
Rob, what were you saying like before? Like
they
just
he
now?
didn't like he didn't really like the Mookie trade hasn't like is sort of coming back to bite them now. Like he let Renfro walk for Jackie Bradley.
Jackie Bradley's back on
He
the
let
team.
Benintendi
How is
go.
wait? How is Renfro been doing? Has he
He's
been
been
keeping it up?
hot recently. I know he homered in the series against the Rockies. He's been really going off. So I know like he's definitely Schwarber too. Schwarber like leads the NL, not
Schwarber.
I wish we had kept Schwarber. Renfro, I'm fine with because I felt like last year was kind of an outlier. Like he had one of, if not his best years,
I'll look up how
and
Renfro's doing.
I kind of figured trade him while his value's high. I'm fine with that. But Schwarber, if we had been able to hold on to him, I mean, that would have been a slam dunk. But
Yeah, I'll look at his stats right now. Renfro is this season hitting 257, 310 on base percentage. OPS is 827, OPS plus 128. So that's not bad. He has 16 home runs, 36 RBI. So nothing crazy, but
okay, okay.
certainly
I mean,
like
that's pretty good though.
yeah,
16 home runs, 250. That's still like a above average hitter there.
yeah, that's true. And I know he also had a really good series against the Rockies, so he could be getting hot. The Brewers Rockies was an interesting series because of course me and Rory do have we have over wins on both of
We
those
do.
teams.
We
But I think
do.
we need the Brewers a little more. I think the Brewers were the only ones that like are like they have to get 90 and they were on pace for like 89. But so that sweep might help them. Um, Speaking of, yeah, I'm friends with someone that works for John Boy Media, and they have to have graphics ready to go, as soon as things happen. So, and I've gotten to see a few graphics that I got to see ones that they never got to use, like the Mariners 16 game winning streak, like it ended at 14, but they had to make it still. But anyway, I suggested that they got to start working on the Red Sox eliminated from playoff contention graphic. Because, I mean, we know it's going to happen. They're bums. And,
Yeah.
I mean, these, like, you said you were going to go on a run. And I didn't, like, I thought this, I didn't say it, but,
They
like,
did go on
you
a run
already went
back.
on a run in June. Like, you peaked then. And the thing is, like, it didn't feel that great because obviously, like, the Yankees, you still lost ground to us. But I knew you bums weren't going to go 20-6 in a month again.
Well, I mean, we obviously did have a peak in June, but I think the team as it's constructed, if everyone was healthy, obviously there would be another run in there. We'd have another run in us. I don't know if I can say that anymore with any confidence, but I mean, I'm sure there's still, it's a MLB season. They're still gonna have winning streaks. They're still gonna have losing streaks. I don't fucking know exactly what's gonna happen, but my confidence level has shot down. I can say that.
40 runs Blue Jays put up, and again, it continues the trend that we talked about in last episode of just not showing up against the AL East. I mean, one like you can have like there's guys they were all injured. I get that, but you can't get embarrassed at home to the Blue Jays coming out the All-Star break like that. I mean that was a huge series for both of those teams.
No,
They're
and
both fighting for that spot, and we'll see how it impacts the Blue Jays. I don't even.
just real quick before we move on, too, I have just one other player that I wanted to highlight real quick. Brian Bello, who is like our top pitching prospect, who's been up for a little bit now. He's pitched in 3 or 4 games. He is just not ready. He is not ready at all, and that has been abundantly clear. He's shown some flashes. He's shown that he has all the movement that we've talked about. He's shown that he can throw at 98, but
Everyone
he
can
is
throw
not
98.
ready at all. He has a 10 ERA right now. Terrible games twice against the Rays, terrible game against the Blue Jays. And like I said, there have been some good things. Like even in that massive first inning he gave up against the Blue Jays, he was getting weak contact. The first two batters got like infield hits. They got another cheap one hit right where the shortstop would be in the shift. Um like there's been good and there's been bad, but he has just clearly shown that he's not ready. We need to send him down. Like anything is better than that right now. I still am high on him for the future, but I can't say it
Yeah.
enough. He's not ready.
All right. So we will move on to the Yankees, but before we do, let's just one last time, let's just laugh in Kurt's face right now. Man, your team
Your
sucks.
team is terrible, bro.
So bad. Jesus Christ. All right. So let's
Astros are
move
still better than the Yankees, though.
let's move on to the Yankees. Of course, Kurt in his desperate attempt to fight clap back at us did hit a bit of a nerve there. The Astros are still the team. We've said it last episode and it did not go away. Doubleheader against the Astros in Houston, lose both of them. The one positive from that was like again they don't like give up. Like the thing about, and again, like it doesn't like a loss is a loss, and it's especially in the playoffs. I won't care, but like each of those games, they battled back in the ninth inning and made it a game.
I
Each
loved
of them.
Aaron Boone's response in when they asked him about like, oh well, there's the narrative going around that the Astros owners is just like, well, we could win every regular season game against them. Narrative won't change once you beat them in October, and we know that we could beat them in October, and they know they're really good. Like that's an answer that's like a new Aaron Boone that I hadn't seen before. That we have been seeing this year. That's the like he doesn't answer with that last year. Like he, I think, is a new manager that I've almost completely turned around on. Even if he isn't the best decision maker, he's still the guy I want to go to war for with that type of answer. But I think the Yankees need to be very aggressive in the trade deadline. Like because although this team is very, very good, I still think we're the best team in the American League. But it has been clear, I think, over the last 30 games, we've played about 500 ball. And, with the injury to Michael King, we need another, which is a huge loss. We need another reliever. I think Luis Castillo needs to be the realistic target that they have. I think we need another like ace-like pitcher. If we can have Cole Castillo, I think that would be huge. And I also think we need to go after Juan Soto. This or Benintendi, but yeah, we need to be very aggressive. Cashman and Howell need to be aggressive at the trade deadline. If they don't, I don't think this team is winning the World Series. And I would honestly call I would honestly call for Cashman's job if he doesn't really make a move at the deadline because he can't waste this opportunity with this team. Too many times in the past, we've been complacent with the Yankees, and that's not going to work.
Yeah, I agree. Like Castillo would be huge, huge get, obviously. And there are just still a couple players where, like, I don't know why Gallo is still getting at bats.
Yeah, I have no idea why he's still playing.
Yeah, I don't know why he's still getting at bats. I don't know why Domingo Herman is still getting starts, especially in a game against Houston that just
Yeah,
and he's gonna
he
pitch
just
against
needs
the Mets too. So like against Max Scherzer.
he
That's
can
just
go to hell.
yeah, dude. There's
Well,
just like he's like an asshole too. I don't know why like Clark Schmidt is in AAA balling, Volpe is in AAA balling. Is he the shortstop?
yeah, Volpe is shortstop. Yeah,
And like one like even in this 12 game hitting streak that IKF has, like he still hasn't
I'm
been
not really sold on IKF.
like he's had some clutch hits.
He has.
No one has no one else in the majors but him has two hits that with 2 outs in the ninth have tied the game or like given the team like kept the team alive. So that he's had some clutch hits. Hicks has two, but I agree with you. They need to be aggressive at the deadline, and but it's still like even when they lost to the Astros, and that was frustrating. That was definitely one of the low points, if not the low point of the season. Like they still right in the first game were right there. They tied it in the ninth, and then in the next game they were down 7-2, but Judge hits a 3-run home run. It's 7-5. They threaten. They bring the tying run to the plate. Right. So again, they just you don't feel like they never give up on games, and that's something that you can like definitely take forward. And that's why I think anyone they do trade for is going to fit in really instantly, just because of the culture of the
Yeah,
clubhouse.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, just mainly like Clark Schmidt needs to replace Herman. Like I know, like people are saying, "Don't worry, Joey Gallo won't get playoff at bats. Don't worry, Herman won't start in the playoffs." Well, then if they're not gonna start in October, why are they like? Why are they
Why
here?
are they
Why are they getting
starting
starts
now?
now? Like this is like, especially in important games, like this, like in high leverage. And Chapman too. Like
Chapman is done. We need
Chapman's
to
done.
just
He's literally like statistically one of the worst relievers. Like we need to get some bullpen guys. Because again, the miracle like bullpen is beginning to fall apart a little bit. Mike King, and this is something we talked about in previous episodes, was being worried that the bullpen, you're overusing them, and that it's starting to happen a little bit with the Yankees. But just took a series against Baltimore. Aaron Judge is out of his slump. I think like Gallo too,
stay
like
out of the club.
yeah,
Just
people
37 home runs.
people said that like oh like Gallo wasn't hurting the Yankees as much when Judge was on, but if he doesn't hit and Stanton goes into a slump, like then it's very apparent that there are some still basically automatic outs, starting with Joey Gallo. So, yeah, that's pretty much like it with the Yankees. They come out of the All-Star break, get swept in the doubleheader, pull back up, and win a series in Camden, which is not as easy as it used to be. So, we move. That's pretty much it with the Yankees. Still the best record in baseball. Still
Who do
not.
they have next?
Yeah, they play the Mets
Oh wow, Subway
when
Series.
tomorrow. I think we have today
That's
off.
gonna
Then we
be
play
maybe
tomorrow.
the most anticipated Subway Series I've seen, maybe ever.
Yeah, I don't know why we're throwing Domingo Urbana out there, but
What? Why? Why are we pitching to Herman in any game? An
Call
automatic.
me Mr. Met for the next 3 or 4 days, man.
the Mets
We
make
bringing out the brooms.
step right up and greet the Mets. They got to worry about the Braves though.
They do got to
The
worry about
Braves are
the Braves.
hot on their tail. Another
Met
Met
fans are worried.
collapse.
Met fans are so worried
The Braves
about
are
the
so
Braves, and they're
nice.
playing us. Like they can say they're not, but yeah, they yeah, fuck the Mets.
I think we're gonna
Anyway,
split that. That's my
yeah,
prediction. Let's go to. Apparently, this is gonna run out in 5 minutes. I should have. But anyway, so I guess we can restart it. But let's go to the C's. Big news there. Big news for the C's. Kurt, like I actually haven't heard you really talk about this. So what do you think about the KD thing?
No, I mean, this is fresh news, breaking news from your podcast right here. Pod saved the rivalry. Kevin Durant, lots of rumors about him and the Celtics coming out today. We made an offer reportedly for Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and a first round pick for Kevin Durant that the Nets shut down. Apparently, they want Marcus Smart included, possibly more draft picks, and another rotation player. It's really hard to decide how to feel about this because obviously getting Kevin Durant would be great. I mean, he's still a top 5, top 3 player in the league.
Yeah.
He obviously boosts any team he's on to a contender. It would be a little interesting to see him once again move to the team who beat him in a playoff series that year and is the leader as a title contender this year.
Yeah.
But I think the package that we put together for him, I would have been completely fine if they had given up Brown, White, and a first for him. Like that is very reasonable, I think. But I do not want to sell the future for Kevin Durant. I don't want to put the franchise in a situation where, you know, if it doesn't work out, we're going to be in ruins for years. We're going to have to go through, you know, a 10-year rebuild to fucking get back all the draft capital and all the assets that we sold off just for Kevin Durant to leave in a year or two, you know.
Yeah.
Um
How do you think he
I'm
gets
very
the
happy with how the Celtics are constructed as they are. And I would have no problem going into next season with no other major moves made. Obviously, the Brogdon move boosted us up. I like the Danilo Gallinari acquisition as well. Um, we do not need Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is amazing. We do not need him. I am not willing to give up 6, 7 draft picks. I'm not willing to give up multiple starters like Robert Williams, Marcus Smart, and Jaylen Brown in that deal. I'm more than happy to build the culture, keep the guys that we drafted, and you know we have already proven that these guys mesh together. The defense is the best in the league, and it's tough when you tinker with stuff like this because you've seen it a lot of times with obviously the most recent example, the Nets, where they blow everything up and go out and grab 2 or 3 stars, and it hasn't always been proven to work. Um, so I think a lot of that is about the culture and about what you build in the locker room, in the on the court, you know, that stuff, the brotherhood between the team. And I think that we have that really well right now. I'm just worried that Brad Stevens is going to get a little bit full of himself with all the praise that he's gotten this offseason and think that he needs to take a big swing like getting a Kevin Durant. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts though, if that
dude?
made any sense?
Honestly, like getting KD, like giving up Jaylen Brown, that wouldn't be like easy. Like I'm kind of like with you. I wouldn't, if I was a Celtics fan, I wouldn't like want to give up everything to get Kevin Durant because I just think like the way you built this team, like
Yeah.
I feel like it would honestly like I don't even know how well KD would fit there, and then on top of it, like you've got this core of guys that you've been developing for years and years and years, and to like mess that up, it can like mess up the chemistry, it can like divide the locker room. I don't know like if it really would be the best for them to go after him. I mean, obviously he's Kevin Durant, but
Mhm.
giving up Jaylen Brown, like that's a big
It's a
uh
big
s-
thing, yeah.
a big step. Like Jalen and JT were the duo. Rat, what do you think?
I wouldn't be like. I kind of am on the same page as all as you guys. I think that obviously, if you can give up like one of the players, like for him, but I think the Celtics shouldn't be willing to give up like an incredible amount of depth for him because they've built something special. They made the finals. They're only 2 games away from being NBA champions.